of time here. And we are underway. You're with Dan Roebuck and Louise Quinn, and as we've mentioned already, Louise, this is a big game for both here because the season hasn't started as they would have wanted.
Yeah, can't deny in terms of what the table tells us at the moment, and you know, I think I've seen Rianne Skinner saying, listen, it's not a must-win, but you know, being an ex-player, I think this will be, you know, massive for both teams. What can they, you know, can they get themselves up and running? First win on the table. Yeah, so for me, it's a massive game for both teams.
Going to be fascinating to see who might be the more ambitious here, because we've seen both teams against good sides obviously have less of the ball. Against the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, it's never going to be a fixture that these two sides are going to dominate, but who might potentially play more on the front foot here? You'd like to think Aston Villa, but West Ham have got some good players, some good technical players on the ball, and we shall see which one of the two might just grab the ball by the horns here and look to try and force the issue a little bit more. The ball cleared out of play as Villa look to press. Interesting to hear from a number of the players ahead of kick-off running up to this game, and Katrina Ligori suggesting that, look, the attitude has been good, we haven't maybe had that much luck so far, and we've just got to knuckle down and get on with it.
Yeah, I think as well, you see from, you know, some of their stats, they're getting their shots off. Listen, not a massive amount of success, but I think in terms of how they get up the pitch, I think in you know, the attacking players they have on right now, you have Martinez, you have Ueki, Asai, Morgan is also there, and she's just, you know, filled with confidence at the moment after, you know, their Wales's first stint in the Euros, and she's, yeah, full of pace, will also, you know, join those attacking players in terms of, you know, getting forward. And again, but we see this from Aston as well. I think they're a very good pressing team, so it'll be interesting to see how West Ham want to play out from the back, which they will, and in terms of can they skip that press of Villa.
Yeah, it's interesting you reference the shots there, because both rank a lot higher in that particular metric than their league position, so it's not for the want of trying, that's for sure. Let's see what Villa can do here. It slips through towards Shemek, and we'll just wait for a second. But we've seen the press already from Aston Villa looking to force West Ham into a mistake, and unfortunately mistakes have riddled West Ham and Aston Villa to a lesser extent so far this season. They've both given away cheap goals in the WSL. Turn back for D'Angelo to get a first touch. West Ham beaten twice by Aston Villa last season. Some really good games between the two. Villa did win 3-2 here back in May, then won 3-1 at home in December. So got the happy knack of beating the Hammers over the last 12 months or so. So he was trying to chase that one down. It's going to be a free kick, I think.
Yeah, again, just a loss of possession there from Villa themselves, playing out from the back. Gori, she's always on the front foot, always looking to intercept. What can she do? Create. Just couldn't slip that ball into Aisi, but again, they're, you know, showing again that they have a point to prove after, you know, last weekend's result, and you know, very tough to go down to 10 players, you know, against the champions. That's the last thing you want.
Yes, it's not easy against any side, let alone Chelsea, that is for sure. I mean, they were 3 to the good ahead of the sending off, and in a lot of way they pulled the sleeves up and dug deep to keep the score down, because it could have been anything you sensed at one stage of that particular fixture. So there was positives to come out of that. It wasn't easy for them. Over the head of Martinez. Interesting to see West Ham are lining up here, because Martinez and they've got some good attacking players. There's no doubt about that. Players that can run with the ball, confident in front of goal.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can see Martinez is leading the line. Morgan just on the left. So again, they just have bags and bags of pace.
Daly might not have the pace that she once had, looking to chase this one down. It's cleared away by Shemek. Touch here from Vilms, who you've been impressed with so far.
Yeah, I've been really impressed. Yeah, and she's just received the Aston Villa Player of the Month. For me as well, I was watching her a lot during the Euros, and again, just very front-footed, a very, you know, sure of herself defender, very good in her 1v1s. And yeah, you know, she's in this right centre-back position at the moment, but she's not afraid to join, you know, join the play where needs be. If she's going to, you know, bypass Grant on that right-hand side and potentially she just tucks in as number 10, Wilms, you know, she's not afraid to get forward. And it's, you know, it's similar sometimes with Anna Patten, I think, in terms of her ability to drive, you know, drive at the opposition team, carry the ball into play, you know, and follow up that run again. She's very, very good at that.
Wilms did weigh in with 4 goals for Wolfsburg last season. She does like to get forward, as Louisa's just explained there. Interesting to see how she develops over the course of her first season in WSL. Dutch international who played at the Euros in the summer. That should be intercepted, and is. It's time to come forward again. It was Morgan initially. Here she is once more to take it beyond Patton. Say will play it back. Western with a mistake, and suddenly an opportunity. Well, taking the shot on from distance, it was an ambitious effort. Simic makes the save here. I can see why the shot possibly was on. It was a chance that came with a high tariff, but unfortunately the execution just wasn't quite there from Hansen. Not a bad effort though.
No, exactly. In these early stages, it's worth a go. She didn't have, you know, that support at the time, and I think it just shows the, you know, the threat and the start they want to make to this game. Listen, it wasn't what she wanted it to be, but you know, it's showing that intent. That I think is important for both teams today. That, you know, they really need to start well, especially West Ham. They did go down to 10 players, but they had already conceded 3 at that stage. So again, for them, it's just about, you know, closing, you know, keeping that clean sheet. I think will be first and foremost for them. And then I think again they've attacking players up top that can really, you know, go hard at this Villa essentially back 3.
Yet to manage a clean sheet so far this season, West Ham. Villa have had a couple, if we include the 0-0 draw in the League Cup that went to penalties in the end. Of course, they were beaten by Spurs on spot kicks. West Ham did manage to secure a League Cup victory, beat Charlton, of course, 5-1 away from home. That will have done their confidence a little good, even though it was ahead of that Chelsea game, following the defeats at the hands of Spurs, Arsenal and Brighton in the WSL. But while it's nice to win the League Cup, the WSL it's more than bread and butter. It's everything at the moment. You don't really want to start dallying with that relegation playoff berth at the end of the season as we reframe the leagues going forward. A fixture you would much rather avoid.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see at the start Aston Villa have this back 3. You can see that Martinez is leading the line, but Morgan is joining, Ueki is joining. It's, you know, it's turning into a 3v3 at the back. Villa are still playing out. You know, almost got caught out there. You know, going 1v1, playing out. If they can skip the press, it will work incredibly well. But in terms of possession of the back, they have to be really, really sharp, really accurate.
Morgan will take it down. Gets away from a little, but Say will take it on. Quite an opportunity for Gori on that right flank. This is Endo. It's going to be a throw. Endo back into the starting lineup. First start of the season for her, incidentally. Japanese international side from Urawa. Motby is just 18. England junior international. Slow progress on that side as Endo will take again. Just about kept in play, not quite. Just seemed to pick up a bit of pace there, didn't it, as Martinez tried to get in.
Definitely just a bit of a breeze today, but again, good idea. Just get, you know, give Martinez that space, get her running. You can see Aisi and Morgan are following in the box, so there's support there. At the moment, it's just that final ball through the final thirds. You know, trying to play between Patton and Delons, just to in between those centre backs. And again, you can see the intent, but it just hasn't come off just yet.
Skinner looking on, talking about the positivity that her side still has. Talking it up, but I hope that the results will turn sooner rather than later. Angelo, there is Grant on this right-hand side. Under pressure, can she keep it in? Well, anyway, she did well to win a throw. On the longest losing streak in the WSL, if we stretch it back to last season. 5 defeats on the spin for West Ham. Never before have they lost 6 in succession, but Aston Villa will be hoping to worsen their record here.
Rory has just taken up some lovely positions. We were talking before, she's very much just a box-to-box midfielder. She will, she is the engine of this team. She will give you, everything defensively. She's, fantastic at interceptions, but then carrying the ball forward, linking with her teammates in. But she's starting very, very high up in this moment, really instigating the press from West Ham. And then just floating into a little bit of space. Can she pick up then a loose ball?
West Ham have it again. Threaded back towards Shemek. Say tries to get to that but can't. Likewise Martinez. Say then does pick it up. Villa lose possession. West Ham players streaming forward, and Gorey through the centre here. Taps it to this near side. Big opportunity not taken. It was Morgan coming through. Maybe just caught in 2 minds there. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, she just needed to. Exactly. Not sure if she was trying to do right outside of the right boot. Just either cross it in or shot. Just either slip it across there with her left foot. Icy's running along the back post. Again, it's a perfect opportunity for them just to get another shot off, get their confidence up. Because I think in terms of their press, it's been excellent so far to start with.
Yeah, most of the players been in that half for sure, as Louisa spotted here. Phil Morgan, who did score in that League Cup success against Charlton last month, signed from Bristol City, scored 6 goals in the Championship last season. She has got an eye for goal for sure. Win it back again in that central area, and once more it's Morgan breaking forward. She's got a bit of pace here as well. She'll keep it in play, might need a little bit of help. Ball in the field for the run of Nystrom, doesn't quite come off. And still West Ham dominating. Certainly had more of the ball in the opening 13 minutes or so.
She's really controlling the play in this midfield. She's got a couple of switches in, drifting off to West Ham's left-hand side. Some nice big diags out to that right, just keeping the play moving, trying to really move Aston Villa out of their shape.
West Ham won it back. Feature already of this fixture. Anton plays it forward. Morgan in space here to race free. Can she get there ahead of D'Angelo? Not quite. Bit of awareness from the keeper to the edge of her penalty area. The ball had just gone there.
Yeah, well read by D'Angelo there. I think she's going to be vital for Villa here. They're going to need her in the build-up again for these balls over the top. Wilms was, pinned in centrally. Grant was high, it just left so much space for Morgan to run into. Just needed the perfect ball.
Sadowski, Denton was free, but it's come back in field for Morgan. I think it's the outside of the boot. Doesn't quite work out for Wecky over on that right-hand side, but it's a fluid forward 3, even more from West Ham. And it's been a positive start for the hosts here. And it'll be Denton to take the throw. Villa, of course, finished last season is arguably the form team in the division, winning 5 on the spin. Some thumping victories, including here and against Arsenal as well, at 5-2 success, although maybe the Gunners can be forgiven for preparing for their Champions League fixtures at that time. West Ham coming forward again here. Villa just look like they've been caught cold a little bit.
Yeah, just getting caught on the ball just too much there. Maltby just giving away a corner. But again, West Ham are just swarming these Villa players, and essentially it's of their own, of themselves, Villa now, who have given up possession far too many times in their own half.
Say to take the corner. Villa have conceded 1 from a flag kick so far this season. West Ham are league high 2. But there's to attack here. Driven in. Touch from Zadorski, still not completely away. It's a little bit of a scramble here, and the shot from close in from Martinez clears the crossbar. Quite sure if it didn't sit for her, but she's only just outside the 6-yard box, and you expect her to hit the target.
Yeah, you do, of the form of last season. We saw Martinez with 10 goals last season in 12 games. West Ham do well to keep it alive. She's just leaning back. It was good pressure there by, I think, DeLons as well, just to put her off. But again, she just leaned back just a little bit too much and just up over the bar. But again, very, very threatening at the moment, West Ham.
Wasn't a lot of the goal to aim at, in fairness. There was players of both flavours in front of her. It was almost trying to find a way through. She went with power, but as you say, just leaning back a little bit. But big opportunity for West Ham, and their early players deserve that for sure. Oh, what an impact she had in England when she came from German football last season. Martinez, a German under-23 international. If she scores as many goals in the WSL this season as she did in half a campaign last term, she'll be looked upon with the national side, I'm sure. Let's see, well, that just ricocheted up and hit her full in the face, I think. That would have stunk. Unfortunate. It was almost as if she's felt the full force of her own attempted challenge here, because she was the one that put the power on it. Ricocheted up off a shin or a knee and back into her face, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a bit unfortunate there, but again, I see she's started extremely strong in this game. I feel like she's, these forward players, they're doing their due diligence in terms of, defensive play, getting in sharp. They know Villa, you can see that they're back 3, but Grant is getting very high. You could just see that Wilms was pulled out of position. She wanted to join the play. Well, she thought that maybe Villa were in, her teammates in comfortable possession, but they haven't just got their flow yet. I feel like Grant maybe just needs to drop off slightly, provide that bit of support to pull West Ham out, and then create a little bit, skip the midfield. Can they find Ebony Salmon? We haven't seen her in this game. We've seen her, picking up possession almost outside in her, first third outside her box. That's not where we want Salmon to be.
All the pressure coming from West Ham. The outball for Villa hasn't really been utilised. We've not seen Salmon, as Louise has just explained, getting good positions. I say he's okay to continue. 3 goals and 2 assists against Villa in her West Ham career. Happy Knack scoring against the Midlands side. And hopefully okay to continue, because she's a key component of the way West Ham go about their business all over the pitch. D'Angelo. Daly. Back for Pan. Here is Wilms. Ball forwards here to try and get Granton away. Trying to just play a little bit quicker. Salmon back for Grant. First opportunity to run towards that West Ham penalty area for her. It's not the worst ball in, but you can see how many West Ham defenders are just trying to block the play. Curl back towards Grant on this right-hand side. Can she keep it in? Not quite, but better from Villa.
Better, yeah. I think it's potentially just their first entry into the box there. And again, you could just see from Wilms, just a little bit more direct. She has Chastity Grant on that right-hand side. You know, two Dutch teammates. Shut that connection. Just start turning West Ham. You know, putting balls in behind, make them run backwards towards their own goal. Believe me, defenders do not like to do that. You know, and just put them under a little bit of pressure. So that was better from Villa there.
The first time that they've got forward, not the first time that Morgan's got forward though for West Ham, because she's been excellent so far. This is a Say drives to the byline. Three waiting for the cut back corner. She's always positive on the ball. She's always difficult to try and knock off it. And she wins a flag kick here for West Ham.
Yeah, you see she's just very direct. You know, she'll run straight through. She has that pace as well for a big touch in front. She just knows there she's probably not at a great angle to cross, but what can she get? And she got herself a corner that she'll take.
Further pressure on that Aston Villa penalty area then here. Let's see what West Ham can conjure from the latest corner. A Say to take into the side netting. Flat trajectory towards that near post. Offers apologies for the delivery.
Yeah, if you're Zadorsky or Nystrom coming up there, you're probably going to have something to say about it. But again, you can't fault her effort so far. But you know, it's a long L trot up there.
Yeah. Do you get a pass for the first one? It's the second one that you get a little bit of a rollicking for. Maybe. Hopefully, next one will be a bit better. Morgan with the ball forward. It's cleared away by Wilms. Salmon on the half turn here does well, knocks it forward. And tries to break free, but it's good work from Shemik. She was outside of her penalty area. She read the game really well. West Ham keep it in play just. Denton. Morgan on the move again inside the fullback. Morgan collects. Grant goal side. Support with Denton if required. Morgan still has it to curl in. This is Martinez to take a touch. I think she's hit her own player there. She got it out from a free. Really, really well made space, but a save was in the way.
Yeah, again, brilliant through ball here to Fionn Morgan. Just from Denton, lovely ball. They know she has the pace to get on the end of that. And again, she's patient, she's moving, she's looking. You know, you can see Gori then comes over, provides support, but it just opens up the box here. Martinez again, shaping it back onto her right foot. And yeah, just unfortunately hits IEC, but you know, they're showing really positive signs. We definitely want to see that Martinez of last season just, you know, get up and running with her first goal of the season.
Zadorsky wins it back, spins all the way through to D'Angelo. It's going to bounce all the way through to Shemik. West Ham have faced more shots than any other WSL side this season. 66, it's an astonishing number. 28 in the match against Chelsea. Maybe we can forgive that number given the fact that they were down to 10. But they've been much better against Aston Villa here. I would not suggest they are the side that have failed to win any of the four. Villa have picked up a couple of draws, as we know, just haven't found any sort of rhythm at all just yet. I've seen the likes of Missy Kearns in that central area, putting the pressure on, cleared away. Maybe an opportunity here for Villa to get some players in advanced areas.
Yeah, Villa, they're just playing very central at the moment, and I feel like they have that space in the wide areas with those wing backs. You know, in terms of especially a lot of is coming down or trying to come down this Villa right hand side, but just use the width.
Forwards, Salmon, big chance here for Daly, and she can't steer it into the net. It was a difficult opportunity and maybe a flick from a West Ham boot. Typical run from Rachel Daly across the defenders, just couldn't find the net.
Yeah, again, Chastity Grant just getting out on this right-hand side, giving a bit of width. And then Salmon inside. Oh, just a tiny little poke with the left foot. Could she have gone, you know, into that a little bit more, swung around with her right, but again, excellent block there for, you know, almost a guaranteed goal.
Really good defensive work. A corner to show for their endeavours, though, here, Aston Villa. Daly waits. Films to take towards the far post. Daly ducked underneath that one. She knew that Patton was behind her, and then the clearance off Daly ricochets up. Daly does well. Wins it back for Aston Villa. Maybe just buoyed with that opportunity from a few moments ago. Sibo Kearns with a touch. Kendall, one of these midfielders we've not really seen in attacking areas so far for Aston Villa. Delon will wait to take the throw. Signed from Montpellier in the summer, on Severance as well. French under-21 international. Action areas, you can see there, 49% in that half, which would suggest that West Ham have certainly been the dominant side. Films. Grant right if required. D'Angelo waits. No real pressure here. Kearns has dropped a little deeper. D'Angelo tries to thread it through. Hansen spins away, runs into trouble. Ueki. Really good close control. Then she runs into Rachel Daly, who wins it back for Villa. West Ham just beginning to take a step or two back here. They've realised the threat of Villa. Asai with the interception. Gori. This is Morgan. Martinez waits, edge of the penalty area. Ueki is there as well. Oh, it's a nice idea, but the execution was just a little off, and Martinez, Ueki and Asai were waiting further to the right.
Yeah, again, Villa have just not gotten into this game. For me, it's just very sloppy. Touches are poor, running away from them. They're trying to play through the lines, through a packed midfield. They need to start pulling it wide, using the width that they have. That's where they have, you know, potentially their spare player. You know, in terms of those wing backs, in Grant and you know, on that left-hand side as well. And it's just, they're just playing, you know, into West Ham's hands right now.
Here comes the press again. Ueki and Martinez putting the pressure on Delon. The ball will come into the midfield area. Salmon was tracking back. Whistle has gone here. Yeah, they're trying to play out from the back, but they're getting caught an awful lot.
Far too much. It's very dangerous play, and we know, this is, you know, this is how she wants her teams to play. But again, you can just see that they're getting stuck. They're, you know, forcing their own errors. You know, and they're not finding their key players up top. And again, you know, how much have you heard of Missy Bo Kearns or Kendall at the moment? You know, not at all. Because there's just not that space. So they need to, you know, be creative, get into a space, lock in a West Ham midfielder, occupy them. So again, it creates space for the forward line and the wingers.
Hansen back in the starting lineup today, can always offer plenty of threat. She had that one opportunity earlier on in the first half. 3 goals last season in the WSL, last in an extraordinary 5-2 success against Arsenal. It's an ambitious ball that's going to spin all the way through to Shemek. Possession here, Aston Villa 58.5 to West Ham 41.5. Doesn't feel like that at all, I must admit. Maybe Villa have had more of the ball inside their own half. They've not done too much with it.
that's it. And I just think West Ham have been really clinical with their turnover and what they're doing with it in Aston Villa's half at the moment. You know, they're allowing, they want Villa to play centrally, and they know that's exactly where they nick it. They don't need to overplay the game at the moment. I think they have their press set up really well. You know, Gori is everywhere.
Grant will break forwards here and get the cross in. Oh, what an opportunity missed. Well, we were just talking about Kirsty Hansen. Well, a shake of the head, an adjustment of the socks, but she knows that this should have been the game opener for Villa.
Yeah, again, Grant with the fantastic turn there on Denton, using her pace and power. Again, nice little ball in. Hansen she's off balance. And just swipes it with that left foot. And she just needs to, as she says, pull her socks back up and go again.
Chance gone, but Villa getting a little closer here after a disjointed start to this fixture in which they were pinned back by West Ham and couldn't cut through the home side's press, but suddenly we're seeing a little bit more from Grant. Hansen's getting in good positions. Daly's beginning to pull the strings. Here is Grant once again, such a good attacking foil on that right-hand side. Just behind Kendall. To see someone just a little bit further forward maybe, but Villa are starting to play a little bit more in the West Ham half, a bit more territorial advantage potentially.
Yeah, Salmon, she's not seeing a whole load of the ball today, but again, when she has that chance, just, you know, back to goal, just pin it, hold it. She's, you know, fantastic, agile, speedy. You know, she's one of Villa's best players on the ball, but again, just guess. She needs to just take a moment now, get her touches in, you know, nice clean pass off to potentially Grant or Wilms out wide, get herself back in the box. She just needs to take a breath here.
Free kick. West Ham fans and indeed coaching staff were not happy there because they felt that there should have been advantage played, and it's come to nothing. Villa are going to restart. And we've got 13 minutes remaining of a first half. Rhian Skinner would have been really happy about the way that her side went about their business in the opening 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes, but she's probably realising here that this is a better spell for Natalia Arroyo's side. Taken down by Denton. Here is Morgan, always happy to run with the ball at her feet. Ueki had started to move infield, and the communication was a little off.
Again, Morgan just driving in from that right hand on her favoured right foot, but Ueki was just making that darting run inside, looking for that little slip ball between, you know, Delons and Patton. But yeah, just didn't come off. But now, listen, they can press again from the front.
Getting the clearance, cannons off another player. Delons to try and clear. Indo gets something on it. Touch here from Saren. The referee intervenes again here. Ellie's not happy about something. Saren's going to get a yellow card for her troubles here. I'd like to take another look at that incident. Not quite sure if it was a yellow card offence or not. What do we think?
No, I'm really not. And has she given it to Saren potentially when it was Nystrom? I'm unsure there.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure of that one. We'll get confirmation of it. West Ham come forward. This is Morgan, and now Gori. Can she get the cross in? Martinez waits. Ueki far post, just off the top of the head of the Japanese striker, and it spins away for a goal kick.
Yeah, good from Gori on this left-hand side. Ueki had already just made her run in. If she just held it a little bit more, come to meet the ball, I suppose at time, you know, she can play both Ueki, but sometimes when you're just on, you know, Aisi's right there, she can just hold her run from that right-hand side. I suppose she's naturally a bit of a, you know, a central striker, wants to get in around the box, but again, a decent chance there for West Ham.
The confirmation, Saren does get the caution.
Did she maybe kick the ball away after?
Don't know.
Not sure.
Salmon to turn. Just want to attempt to get it over to the left-hand side, but as you were just talking about, it's almost like she wants 2 or 3 touches rather than try and just lay it off and spin and move. Zadulski under pressure. This is Denton likewise. Here come the Villa press. It's the Rachel Daly run that triggers it potentially. It's a good clearance though. Ueki can't quite take it down. Touch from Saren. And then she ends up on the deck and the ball ends up out of play for a West Ham throw. Goes the answer with a big chance, of course, earlier in this first half. She'll still be thinking about that miss, maybe.
Yeah, I think that one, listen, she does just have to get past that moment. It's still, listen, it's all to play for. Probably is lingering a little bit, and in terms of just how the game is going for Aston Villa at the moment, she probably sees that as, you know, a way for them to get a foothold in the game.
Do you sense as well, Louise, that, you know, these two teams haven't won in the WSL this season, and although we've seen some good play, maybe just a bit short on confidence, and the longer it goes on, they start to doubt themselves because they're on this, you know, winless run at the moment, as it is for both of them.
Yeah, and I think it's, listen, both teams have conceded far too many goals, and, you know, and have only scored 2, I think, each this season. West Ham having conceded, I think, 14. So again, that's, you're looking at a confidence from both areas of the pitch there defensively, you know, conceding so many goals, and then, you know, if your strikers also aren't scoring, again, it puts an added pressure, you know, across the board. And for me now, this is a game where either team can really take advantage and get their team up and running. You know, move out of those kind of bottom 3 places that these two teams are in.
Yeah, you do sense that. They can both kick on should they win. It ends all square. Well, we'll see who will take the positives out of that. Just one thing on the West Ham goals, you're absolutely right. They've only scored 2 goals. Their expected goals figure is 4.1, so they've been a little unfortunate not to score a few more. And they've had some good chances here as well, but maybe the regression will be upwards for them. They've been a little unlucky in conceding all of those 14 as well. An XGA of 8.8 if you're a fan of the modern metric. And I'm sure that Rhian Skinner will be talking about that to her players, but bottom line is, defeats ×4 in the WSL for them. But I think they've acquitted themselves pretty well so far in this game. Asai goes down, referee allows play to continue. Villa did have it, then lost it, and then Daly wins it back. Hanson will control. Difficult one to control. She's found Salmon, has she? Zadulski flies in not once but twice, and there's a little bit of an edge creeping into that midfield battle. The referee might have to intervene here, but doesn't. She's happy to let it go. No, she isn't. The whistle has gone. What is the situation here? Who does she want to speak with? Got a player down? Yeah. I thought she was letting 1 or 2 of the challenges go here. There's the first one. I mean, Zadulski, no nonsense.
Perfectly good, yeah. Again, nothing wrong with it. West Ham, in terms of their press and how close they're, you know, getting to those Villa players centrally. You know, they're putting under pressure. They're not giving them that time, that confidence to potentially take their touch, lay it off. You know, West Ham are fiery today. They are in there, you know, in terms of their press. It's been very positive.
Natalia Arroyo getting her instructions across. She'll have a 15-minute spell in a second to do that. We've got 5 minutes for this first half still remaining. Joan Villa, of course, at the start of the calendar year after Robert de Paul was sacked. 3.5-year deal, really good reputation from Spanish football, good player as well in her day for Espanyol and Barcelona, and did brilliantly with Real Sociedad. Missy Kearns is getting the instructions, likewise Lucia Kendall, and those two players we've not seen a lot of. You mentioned it in commentary earlier on in this first half. They've been overshadowed, haven't they, really, in that midfield area?
Yeah, and it's, listen, that can happen. There's a lot of players, you know, centrally. The play has been coming through centrally for both teams, definitely working out better for West Ham. But again, it's, you know, Kendall, young midfielder, Missy Kearns has plenty of experience, but it's just about their patience now. What can they do to, you know, to drag in more of those West Ham players, you know, and create space essentially for the other teammates. It's just about patience. It's understanding, do you know what, I'm not going to be the one that gets on the ball here, but let me create space for Daly, Salmon, Hansen, Grant. You know, what can I do to, you know, to help my teammates out? It's not about the amount of touches they have to take in this game. Those stats aren't going to matter. It's what they can do off the ball.
You always sense, though, when you're struggling to find a bit of form, that, you know, you want a bit more on the ball because you think you can affect it a little bit more. It's one of those sort of counterintuitive things to do better, to do well. Sometimes you've got to step back sometimes.
Yeah, as the centre back, I was hoping I wasn't on the ball too much now, but I was hoping the rest of the girls had it. You know, but again, that was, yeah, just to create space and to, you know, provide that support for the teammates around.
West Ham coming forward. Ueki battles well. The shot is blocked. Still West Ham probe away. Denton with a bit of indecision, but she retains possession. Zadorski, Van Eastrom, Indo. West Ham move it a little bit quicker, more direct towards Asay. Martinez doesn't get there ahead of Kendall. Kendall does. That was fairly high, but play continues. Here is Maltby. Missy Kearns. Grant on this near side, beaten to it in the air by Morgan. Which way for Denton here? Well, Villa did draw their last away game 1-1 against Arsenal, that late leveller, of course. They drew away at Brighton, of course, on match day 1 as well. 3 straight draws on their travels. The last away win was here late last season. Comes the delivery towards Daly, clear to the edge of the penalty area. Interesting to see Hansen come to this right-hand side.
Yeah, might just ask a few more questions. Not sure if it's been, you know, information given, but again, just that left, you know, left foot on this right-hand side. She's going to be able to, you know, either go outside, mostly go, you know, inside, but lovely little in-swinging balls from, you know, from that left foot. Just poses a, you know, poses a question for West Ham.
Pattern to play it back. Wilms will let it run through. Down to the side of the area. Now it's with Grant. Missy Kearns to control and to get the cross in, but the angle was tight, too close to the keeper. Easy for Schmick.
I feel like a change is just bringing Hansen over to this, you know, right-sided striker, if you'd like to say. Salmon's gone over to the left, but again, we're kind of seeing now Missy Kearns starting to enter the box a little bit more. Hopefully kind of get that swing of momentum now at the end of the first half to bring it into the second.
Ueki has done some good work on the ball. Difficult to shove off it. She's a strong player with good close control, but Villa do have it now. Missy Kearns' turn to show her skills and awareness. Can she find the pass to the right-hand side? But Grant was going towards the ball. It was flicked away from her.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with Denton on this left-hand side. You know, you have a lot of work to, you know, Grant is a very, very strong ball carrier. You know, just wants to take her players on 1v1. I've been very impressed with Denton now in terms of how she's, you know, managed to keep Grant fairly quiet.
Yeah, 5th season now at West Ham. She was an Arsenal junior, and with Morgan getting forward as well, it's been quite a fair few one-on-ones. 5 minutes remaining, or should I say 5 minutes of added on time. So 5 minutes remaining of this first half. We've had the odd stoppage here, the odd injury, unfortunately. So an additional 5 to see if we can split these two before the break. Gorey. Two Villa players to try and deal with. D'Angelo. Wilms. Intercepted, but it's spin for Morgan here. Wants to go again. Say up into the air. Morgan to control, runs into trouble. Kearns to take a touch. Now it's with Daly. Grant to her right. And again, looking to cut across the player. Good play. Hansen. But he's Salmon. And he's trying to get towards the penalty area. Like on his Missy Bo Kearns, but the whistle has gone.
I think just, yeah, that was just a little bit simpler there. Wilms just playing out to Grant, who's just in between the lines. You know, she's behind Morgan, in front of Denton. It's just going to pose questions. You know, she could have just got that touch or a little bit more pace on the ball for that touch forward. But again, it's sometimes just as simple as your positioning. Just drop in between the lines, ask questions of this, you know, West Ham strikers and midfield in terms of just movement. Who's going to pick them up? You know, notoriously, you're probably not going to see that the attackers are going to want to track back and, you know, check their shoulders, and, you know, it might just create that little bit more space for Grant. You know, who's so effective when we can, you know, get her running forward.
Striker's not tracking back. Sounds like you've maybe had experience of those in front of you in the past.
Yeah, it's not all of them, though. It's just some of them.
Villa have possession. Here is Grant. Does look to get forward. Morgan this time goal side, as Villa look to finish this first half on a high and maybe nudge in front here. No goals in the opening 47, nearly 48 minutes that we've played here now. Been a game, a few clear-cut opportunities, but we have had them at both ends. Salmon, strong, direct, keeps it in. Who can she pick out here? Cleared off the line. Well, it was a ball across the 6-yard box that she was hoping someone in Villa colours would get on the end of. As it was blasted behind for a corner, but good strength here.
Yeah, much better. She's created. She's finally, you know, found herself that bit of space. I think Hansen is just coming in. She's on the edge of the 6-yard box. Just the pullback, well defended by Endo, I have to say.
It could have easily flown into the net. Not easy. In comes the delivery, though. Again, it ricochets around. Still not completely away. Patton was lurking, and it's Milan that has the shot from distance, but always rising, unfortunately.
Yeah, a good finish here now by Villa. I think that stoppage in play, you know, that 5-10 minutes ago, I think they've just made a couple of little alterations, which has, you know, seen Grant have a small bit more space. You know, kind of, I think pushing Salmon like slightly wider on either wing when she's centrally. Zadorsky and Nystrom are just, you know, directly in her back. So for me, they're just finding a little bit more space and creating, you know, a couple of more plays.
D'Angelo to collect. Patton Films might have given that one away. Morgan forwards quickly and definitively. This is Asai. Denton again to join the attack. Gori, flag stays down here. What can she do? She cuts back inside. Credit Wilms with a challenge. We might just have time for the corner.
Yeah, really opened up there. Good patience again. Gori, Asai are the ones that are, you know, creating. Morgan as well, especially on this left-hand side. Lovely little triangles. Just what can they, you know, do in terms of breaking that line? Gori just with that little chop in to try get it back on her, you know, on her right foot. But again, well covered by Wilms there.
Last act of the first half for sure. As we tick into the 6th minute of added on time, Asai removes some debris before curling this one in. Cleared away to the edge of the area, flicked back in. Well, shouts of handball from which team? And that is the half. Well, defence is on top here. No goals in a 45 minutes that saw chances for both teams. Asai's been busy, as we know. Rhian Skinner will have been pleased with the way that her side went about their business for the opening 10 minutes or so. But then Villa on top towards the end. And as the teams head to the tunnel, half-time here, it is West Ham United 0, Aston Villa 0. Underway then for the second half. Incidentally, West Ham's women's team official programme today for the game is dedicated to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The Breast Cancer Now's tagline, touch, look and check, highlighted in the official programme. There's more details on the West Ham website. West Ham aiming to start this second half as they did the first, very much on the front foot. They were the side that were looking to play the more ambitious football and push Aston Villa back. What we will see any differently, I wonder, in this second half. Gori lets the ball come across her and just gets it taken off her toes, and then, well, the shot from distance was nowhere near the target. I think that maybe Grant may have injured herself there with a challenge on Gori there, but we'll see. Denton taking the shot on.
Yeah, I think Grant potentially just got a little stamp. There was, you know, no intention, but again, it's a fast start to this second half for West Ham. Again, very much on the front foot. And yeah, it'd be nice to see a little bit more play down this West Ham right-hand side, and, you know, getting Ueki into this game a little bit more. You know, she's been very effective with the play that she's had, but, you know, she can really make an impact on, you know, on this team.
Angelo to collect for Villa, who will build from the back themselves here. Buoyed by those late opportunities in the first period. Daly's flick. Here is Missy Kearns, Rachel Daly again. Salmon operating over on the right-hand side. Kearns breaking forward again, looking to get the cross in early. This is Hansen, back to goal at the moment. Who can she lay it off to? Kearns once more. Positive play from Aston Villa here. Cleared away by Zadorski.
Yeah, well played. We can see that Salmon has maybe pushed over onto that right-hand side, and Hansen is holding central, and, you know, they've got into the box there. But again, as the first half went, West Ham have, you know, just swarmed Hansen on the ball there, and the same with Missy Kearns. You know, really not giving them anywhere to go or to, you know, play those nice little intricate passes that they, you know, that Villa, you know, quite like to do around the edge of the box.
Zadorski penalised for the challenge. Estonian international, played in the summer friendlies. A lot of experience, of course, in WSL and indeed worldwide football, but she's given her side a little bit of a problem here. An opportunity for Aston Villa. Wilms with the responsibility with the free kick. Goes the signal. What does right arm up mean? Let's find out. It's towards the far post. Good delivery as well. Not backing by Deland here. Keeper under pressure. Shemek did well to hold on to that. She was being fouled. Not easy. Just a little bit of afters there between keeper and Villa captain. Rachel Daly says, well, one in the game.
Well, that's it. That's the, you know, that's who you want on the ball in terms of they whipped it in, Kendall back post, and, you know, Rachel Daly, in terms of what she can do in the air, she's always going to challenge. I think in terms of her aggression, her timing, you know, of the ball in the air is absolutely excellent. And you know, I think that's how she scores a lot of her goals.
Salmon did not take it on. Will it fall here for Hansen instead? It might do. She's battling away. Will be looking to get the shot in. It's a good one as well. Clear to the edge of the area. Still Aston Villa probe and push. Grant loses out. West Ham might be able to come clear. Have they got the pace with Morgan? No, they haven't, because Wilms is too quick, too clever. All the way back to D'Angelo, but maybe just the tempo of the game being upped a little here from both.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can see kind of players starting to really join the play a little bit more. The spaces are opening up.
Neat play here. Salmon still going close in. Dink finishes the side netting. Good idea. So close to an opener. Neat footwork. Not quite the finish to match.
Yeah, again, Hansen just dropping in deep, and Salmon just making that run in between the, you know, the full back and the centre half. She has it on her right, and just a quick little shift of her feet onto her left foot. Very close, just trying to get that dink over the, you know, over the keeper. It just hits the side netting. But again, much more positive, you know, getting Salmon a bit of that space to do what she needs to do.
It's interesting because earlier today when we were talking about formations, I was asking you about Rachel Daly, and you were suggesting, well, I said to you, surely, you know, Rachel's going to be up top, and you said, well, you never know. And I think she's dropped a little bit deep, and it's the combination play between Salmon and Hansen that we're seeing more of since the restart.
Yeah, exactly. That's just Rachel Daly's game. She's so adaptable, she's so flexible, and you know, you do want the play to go through her, or through, you know, the movement that she makes. If she needs to pull wide, she's very familiar with, you know, these wide positions as well, and you know, just being that creator and whatever she can, you know, do for her team. And again, I think it just works, but it's about then, if she pulls wide or if she drops deep, who is then taking her position? You know, you want that to be Hansen or Salmon if they have to kind of peel in off the, you know, off the wing slightly. So it's just about filling a space, you know, just getting that rotation right, filling a space of where, you know, Rachel Daly wants to go.
Yeah, I think the combination play between the Villa front three is just beginning to click, which could spell danger for West Ham. 6 minutes into this second half, still no goals though. Martinez takes it down neatly. Good centre forward play. Morgan for Asay. Martinez wants it back. Flip back. He's thrown forward. Delon with a header. Villa have it again. That's Hansen, who rides a couple of challenges. She's certainly come to the party in the second half. I know she missed that first half chance, but seeing plenty of the ball in those central areas all of a sudden.
Yeah, they really did well. Just play a bit of advantage there. Just, you know, otherwise, listen, she could have stopped in that play, but again, it was better. Just let it flow. Hansen was well in control of the ball, but there was Denton again, just to clean up for West Ham.
Ricky slides in. Delon down the line. Hansen is in again. Ebony Salmon calling for it. Cleared away well. Zadorsky gets there ahead of Salmon.
Yeah, it's good if Hansen is just peeling off, you know, peeling off into that left-hand side, ball into space. Just need, you know, Aston Villa just need that player running at that front post. You know, and listen, whoever it was Salmon in that case, she's either going to get on the end of it, or it's going to just drag that centre back out of position and create space for a late runner.
Wilms to take the corner then here for Aston Villa, who've got plenty of personnel inside that West Ham 6-yard box here. Delivery needs to be on point towards the near post. Just about smuggled away. Might have another go though here, Wilms. Missy Kearns to try and curl in. It hits Asay. Touch forward will not fall for Martinez, but will fall for Grant. Now it's with Daly. Grant has it again. 3 waiting inside the penalty area. Good defensive work. And Denton once again over on that left-hand side, and she'll look to try and clear, and she does. Is there a counter on here potentially? Asay steps inside and was brought down, and this might be a yellow card here. It is.
super play by Denton again. She really has been brilliant in that left back position. And again, just cleaning up, and can she get her pass away? Can she get out of her, you know, 1v1? Yes, she can, and she finds Asai. Yeah, she's just been, I've been so impressed with her for West Ham today.
Kendall gets the caution, I think, for the challenge. Zadorski, long and hopeful for Martinez to chase. D'Angelo drops on that. Well, the ante has been up for me. A few more chips have been pushed into the centre of the table. And both of these sides, I think, just realising that a win potentially is there for the taking for either. And it would be huge in the context of both of their seasons, as we know, both without a win. Villa have played a game fewer, of course. For West Ham, maybe the need is more pressing, especially at home. Villa are unbeaten in their last 5 away WSL games, 3 wins, 2 draws. Last defeat was at Manchester United back in March.
West Ham just being a bit more direct here as well.
Martinez, I say he waits inside the penalty area. Still Shakira Martinez. Runs out of ideas, but keeps possession. Siren flick through towards Morgan. I say he can't make it hers. Kendall will clear away. Whistle has gone. Free kick for Aston Villa. Saying just West Ham just being a little bit more direct, trying to find Martinez just as that, you know, hold up player. And again, just with the throw in, just playing down the line, hold up. Martinez just drives inside. Again, just trying to get, you know, create something a little bit different. Grant with a clearance. Coach on looking. Always feel for the fullback that has to race up and down with a coach in their eye line. Obviously one gets it one half and then the next period. Never straightforward. It's the always closest point of contact. Just a bit of a lull to proceedings here. It's been a good positive start from Villa, mainly in this second half. This is Denton to take the throw. You can see the match stats so far. 6 West Ham shots to Villa's 7. Villa with a 2 on target. Martinez. Ueki underneath the studs, but she still should be able to keep it in play. Endo to her right if required, just stepping back onside. Can she deliver the ball? She can. It's a good-looking ball as well, and the header. I say got something on it, but not enough. It wasn't an easy chance. She snuck in round the back of the defender, and the diving header was wide of the target.
Yeah, really good switch of play just to find Ueki, and you know, Endo was making that, you know, that run forward just to provide support. Lovely ball in. She's just stretching. Wilms does really, really well just to get in between player and, you know, player and goal, and really, really big chance there now for West Ham.
Yeah, never the most straightforward, but that close in, and she does meet it, doesn't she? If she gets a little bit more on it, it just flies into the back of the net.
Yeah, Wilms did very, very well there in terms of just, you know, she probably didn't even really see. She knew Icy's there, but again, it's just about you have to really get that right body position because it's such a dangerous ball in. You know, anything can happen with that. The ball could just bounce up the wrong way. So again, Wilms did very, very well there.
We've not seen enough of that from Endo, really, have we, on the right-hand side getting forward?
Yeah, generally that, you know, the right-hand side of West Ham, I don't think has been utilised, but again, it was Ueki just finding that space, and Endo just with that overlapping run, just creating space. And you know, Ueki could have drived inside, but the space closed, and then Endo was just in a massive pocket of space on that, in that right wing position.
West Ham have scored in 11 of the last 14 in all competitions. Haven't managed a clean sheet in their last 8, incidentally, since a 0-0 against United. This is Ebony Salmon racing forward. Good first touch. Angle is tight. Bit of defensive work, and Stanton gets back again to deny Salmon. That's been a really interesting battle throughout on that flank.
Yeah, it's been really excellent. Denton's been really on her game today. But again, just Villa just, having that bit of directness instead of constantly trying to play through the middle. And again, just get Salmon on her bike. Can she go? Can she run? And her team get a corner out of it.
Further pressure then for West Ham to try and defend. Aston takes it short. She's going to get it back here. Good angle, maybe. Thumps it towards goal. How about that for a hit? Hansen with a screamer into the top corner. Well, the short corner routine worked an absolute treat. That is something really special. Flew into the top corner. Shemek no chance whatsoever. It's West Ham United 0, Aston Villa 1.
Oh, fantastic strike. Just a lovely little short corner play. Wilms has been, taking these direct corners and just changing it up this second half. Hansen over the ball, plays to Wilms, and just slips it into her path. Lovely, as we said, when Hansen is coming off this right-hand side, to have that in-swinger with that left boot. Goes through a body of players. But again, fantastic strike into the side netting. Brilliant. I think Villa have started the better of this half.
Well, she struggled from about a yard out, but from 20 or so, it's not an issue whatsoever. Fluffed her lines in the first half. Not saying that was completely straightforward, but what a hit to put Villa in front. We're going to see a change here for West Ham. Maybe a little bit of a surprise that Martinez is the player that's coming off here. And the change we'll see, Serena Pubel come on. Alteration for West Ham to try and change their fortunes. They're a goal down here. Haven't managed to come from behind to win a game since League Cup fixture back in January against Spurs, a 2-1 win. Haven't managed to do so in the WSL since beating Crystal Palace after going down early back in December of last year. It's something that they generally do, but they're going to have to here, or it's going to be 5 defeats on the spin.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see now who West Ham's. I think Puebel will be their focal point. She's also used to, playing on the right-hand side a little bit. So again, you might see a little bit of interchange, from those wing positions.
She did score, incidentally, in that come from behind success against Crystal Palace. Yet to score this term, a bit of responsibility on her shoulders. Now, one change for West Ham. There's going to be an alteration here for Aston Villa. This is interesting. Just wonder if Rachel Davies carrying a little bit of an injury, but the skipper, the main goal-getter, is to be replaced here. A bit of encouragement here for Miri Taylor is going to come on. What might that mean for Aston Villa in their shape and how they're going to go about their business for the final, well, just shy of half an hour?
Yeah, a bit of a shake of the head there from Daly, maybe not too happy, but again, she seemed to be coming off, a little bit gingerly. But again, we're just seeing Taylor drop into this, 6th position. You might see Kendall or Missy Bo-Kearns kind of.
Here is Salmon, meanwhile, to slip it through. Villa have got the bit between their teeth at the minute, it would appear. Morgan tries to clear, it'll spin for Ueki. That's a clever ball to the left-hand side. It just bounces away from SA. That's unlucky.
Yeah, they had a real opportunity to break, just a little bit too much on it from Ueki. But again, IEC, she's, you know, constantly on that front foot, and you know, we might see that now from West Ham. They really might try push and push here now in terms of, you know, getting the equaliser, but again, it might just open things up a little bit. Will Villa potentially sit off slightly now that they don't, you know, they don't have that creativity from Rachel Daly?
Yeah, it might mean a slight change of focus, you would have thought. And, a lot of the play does come through, but the Hansen and Salmon combination has worked well. And as you mentioned, Taylor will naturally be a little deeper. Some defensive work to do here for Villa. I say he's going to launch this one towards goal. Big diagonal here, but collected well by D'Angelo.
Yeah, it's not bad, just a little bit too much, you know, towards the keeper, but a nice flat ball, and you could see Nystrom was just, you know, that potentially that target player for IEC, but just, yeah, a little bit too much on it.
D'Angelo again. Villa with the advantage. Ended up finishing 6th, of course, last season after that late rally. 15 points clear of Crystal Palace. They were 19 off 3rd place. There has been investment in the side. Ebony Salmon running up defenders again. Brought down on the edge of the area. She's difficult to stop in full flow.
Yeah, really good direct run from Salmon, and she just, you know, she starts dragging in the centre backs as well. Zadorsky wants the step, Nystrom wants the step. Denton is, you know, coming from behind, which left a big gap on that right-hand side as well, for either a slip ball. But again, just really direct, really nice from Salmon there.
Opportunity here potentially. Free kick outside the area. Leland is potentially going to take this one. Wilms has got an eye on it as well. He's going to pull rank here. Wilms, I think. Wilms does take! Oh! An absolute stunner! What a hit! 2 sensational strikes here for Aston Villa have undone West Ham. And that free kick, unstoppable here. Lynn Wilms gets her first WSL goal, and that is something really, really special. And it's West Ham United 0, Aston Villa 2.
Fantastic free kick, just puts it back across the keeper. You know, it's on the keeper's side, right-footed, and just, wow, into that top left-hand corner. Fantastic strike. You know, you would think, can the keeper potentially just give a little bit more? That's what, you know, her wall is on the other side, but you cannot take anything away from that strike. Wow.
Well, sweetly struck the pair of the Villa goals here, and curling away from the keeper. It's always difficult. Sometimes you think, well, can't the keeper save them? But they come over the wall, and if you position one way and it's spinning away from you, they're almost impossible to stop. You've got to anticipate it, and then you can be made a fool of if it goes the other way. You know, you can't guess. It's just a stunning strike.
Yeah, I think it must have been, you know, one of the cup games. I think Wilms had a similar free kick from that position, but she's gone to the keeper's left. Whereas this time she's put it back across and, you know, pretty much placed it in the exact same place that Hansen did.
I say, in comes the delivery. Good claim from D'Angelo. Well, the game is threatening to run away from West Ham here. Aston Villa lead by 2. And just maybe that little more quality that Villa have got in their ranks is beginning to tell. And although we build this game right at the start of it as two teams that haven't won in WSL. There's a caveat here because Villa have drawn 2, they've only lost 1, and they've played 1 game fewer. So, you know, we're stretching it to say that both of these teams were in the real mire. I think, you know, Villa knew that maybe there was a little bit more to come. And when you score a last-minute goal to get a point off Arsenal in your last game, you know, you're walking tall into your next fixture.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to take, you know, to go through that 90 minutes, come from behind, score with, you know, pretty much the last touch of the game. It's going to breed confidence, you know, amongst the squad. And you could see what Villa were trying to do at times in that first half, but you know, it wasn't working out. Touches were loose. They just, you know, in terms of just organisation as well. So again, just lovely little adjustments have been made, and they've looked far more solid at the back. You can see Missy Kearns and Kendall getting on the ball a little bit more, even Rachel Daly as well when she was on. And again, and Salmon is just also getting a little bit more space, which she just operates so much better in. You know, and she was the instigator for that goal, driving at the West Ham back line.
Maltby forward, Hansen will keep it in play. Maltby is free if required. He wins it back, then loses out. Maltby will race free. There's plenty inside the area. She can't pick anyone out. It's a block, come interception that flies behind from Nystrom for a corner. Villa supporters you can hear as they search for a third goal of the game. Real positive spell in this second period. Missy Kearns plays it short. Salmon will drive on, and she's got inside the area here. Shot on the turn, he's just wide. It hits the post, in fact, from Grant, and then it pings around. Eventually it's cleared away. West Ham living dangerously. Delon will hook it back. Taylor tries to keep the move forward for Aston Villa, then Kendall loses out. Gorey will come forward, the ball is just about in play. West Ham do well. Asai, Ueki through the centre if she's quick. Didn't spot the runner.
Yeah, she had that chance just to slip through. Ueki, she was well onside as well. Just needed to be played earlier, just take that chance. Completely split Villa through the middle there.
End up. Well, the tail of the tape there, starting to see why Villa are ahead. 9 shots to 7, 4 on target. That might be the key metric. Much more of the ball as well. And although in the first half it was more in their own half, in the second period, much further forwards and beginning to really enjoy their football, it would appear here. Maltby. This is Miri Taylor, the substitute. They learn to knock it in with an up and under, but gets too much on that when it's a goal kick. And it's that great intangible, isn't it? Because you can just sense that Villa are playing a lot more confidence now. It's something you can't buy. You just get it somehow, and going 2 to the good, that one's spinning and hitting the post. Suddenly Villa are enjoying the football again.
Yeah, very, very close. Just a little bobbling ball in, but again, just keeping it alive. And again, I think it's been really good from Taylor since she's come on.
Neat flick for Missy Kearns. Hansen is calling for it. Really good block. Nystrom does well. Kendall, Kearns again. Nystrom again flying in. There's some last-ditch defending. It's good defending, but it's the last line of defence.
Yeah, again, as I was just saying, just Taylor, I think she's been excellent since she's come on. She's just been, you know, I think she has been granted a little bit more space centrally, but she's getting lovely switches in, playing balls into, you know, lovely little balls into strikers' feet, easy control and play off. And I just feel like now, yeah, West Ham have lost that structure centrally, especially. And Aston Villa are, are exposing it now. They're getting on the ball, switching the play, not letting West Ham get near it now.
Head-to-head record will always point towards the Villa win. They've been excellent. West Ham are winless in the last 5 WSL games against Villa since October 22. And Paul Konchesky was in charge of West Ham, and a 2-1 away win. And Villa are even better when they play West Ham in the capital. In all 6, and they've come to London to face West Ham as a top-flight side. And then this one looks like it's going to go their way.
Just going to rue that domination that they had in the first half. It was all West Ham. In terms of just entries into the box, how they were getting forward, they were completely breaking Villa down from their own mistakes at times. But they've really managed to tidy it up for this second half.
And most of the zones, as you will have spotted with that graphic, controlled by Villa rather than West Ham. But West Ham coming forward here. Nystrom. Siren steps away from the challenge about to be made by Taylor. Gorey tries to thread it through, but it ricochets off Kendall. Oh, Gorey was a little late there. I don't think you can complain too much there, Katrina.
No, I think that's, definitely just a bit of a cynical one there, just breaking up the play, potentially a little bit of frustration creeping in.
She's combative, as we know. I mean, she might have tried to pull out that, but she did take it down, I think, with it.
100%. Yeah. But I think she knew what she was doing.
Pattern to clip to the right-hand side, nodded down by Salmon, but comfortable for Shemik. Bounce is well read by Taylor. Gorey steps up, keeps it in play, good skill, really good awareness.
Anywhere will do.
I've been impressed with Vilms for sure. Really good acquisition for Aston Villa. They can start to look up potentially. Get this one over the line. Start to think about moving up the WSL standings. Obviously depends what happens elsewhere today in the Sunday fixtures, but they could jump to 7th spot. And potentially some winnable games to come, having had a challenging start really in many ways. Brighton away, good teams have come up and stuck there. Then Chelsea and Arsenal. Next up is a 2-game home stanza against Leicester and Everton, and maybe expect to win those 2. Haven't won this one yet though. Gorey comes forward for West Ham. Now it's Endo. Gorey again. Space for Uweki on the right-hand side. It's inside the full-back. That's clever. Still Uweki to try and play it back. Endo was trying to pick up the ball, but is cleared away by Aston Villa, who suddenly have got a bit of defensive work to do.
Yeah, again, lovely work from Gorey in that middle again. She can just twist, turn her back, and then lovely just little reverse pass to Uweki, who just, she left it short, needed more pace to get it back to Endo there.
Gubel will play it back. Gorey again with a clever touch, and she could be in here! Brilliant save, D'Angelo. Still not over yet. Uweki stretches, comes towards Endo. Cleared away by Cairns. West Ham trying to apply further pressure. All about Gorey on that occasion, who did brilliantly to shape the shot. D'Angelo credit to make the save. Still the hammers come forward. Uweki too close to D'Angelo on this occasion. Well, she's unlucky, but credit the keeper.
Again, the engine of this team, Gorey. you know, Morgan just finds her just inside, shifts it back onto that right, you know, favoured right foot. Just she hit it a little bit too central. D'Angelo again with a good save, but just a little bit central at her, and it's just about keeping it alive. But again, she's the one who's, you know, most likely to get West Ham back into this game for me, Gary, in terms of just her creativity, and you know, she just takes the game by the scruff of the neck.
Well, as we were watching that replay, there has been a card issued here. We will identify who's just been cautioned for you in a second. And it will take the throw meanwhile. Villa with the throw. Endo. I mean, that's Say, the player that picked up the caution. Minutes remaining here, and Aston Villa lead by 2-0. So he gets to the byline, keeps it in, arms go up, flag does fall. Pause before the whistle sounded. Confirmation of that card. Well, she's got the ball in some good areas. She's been dynamic as ever. On another day, West Ham might have scored early. It would have been a very different game, but Villa have shown their quality, I think, in the second half. I mean, 2 brilliant goals.
Yeah, 2 fantastic strikes, but exactly that. West Ham needed to take advantage of that. You know, maybe not even necessarily possession, but in terms of just their, you know, their counter play, their press, picking up the ball in, you know, in the middle of the pitch or the final third, and just, you know, put these moments to bed, which we've, you know, shown has been a struggle of theirs. They've had, you know, plenty of shots on, in terms of how this season has gone, but again, it's about the end product. It's about, you know, the ball hitting the back of the net there, and that's essentially just what they've struggled with, because their creativity in the first half in terms of their press was excellent, but you know, it's what shows on the scoreboard now.
Well, on for Kendall, you may well have seen. That's the switch for Aston Villa. It's just going to allow a play, unfortunately. Yeah, it's going to be a West Ham corner. As Morgan getting forward, I haven't seen anything like as much of her racing free on the left that we did in the first half.
I just think Grant has just dropped back slightly just to give Wilms a little bit of a hand, and you know, and not exposing too much space.
Say with the delivery again, in it comes. Joeki gets the first touch. Who can get a second? It's all a little bit of a scrap, and the referee decides that an infringement somewhere along the line sees the game halted. It's an injury here to Anna Patton, is it, who's down?
Yeah, Anna Patton, yeah. Again, just a bit of a ball to the face. I've no doubt she'll be okay, our Irish centre back.
Contact lens out as well there, maybe?
Looks like it. That seems to be the main issue for sure.
Always helps. And maybe Villa just pleased with the pause in proceedings here, because West Ham had just started to build up a little bit of steam, hadn't they? A little bit of pressure on that Villa backline.
Yeah, just gather a bit of momentum, and
seeing the goals again here, aren't we? That's a great hit.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, just a really, really, really smart short corner there, and then we see Wilms again, who places it into that left-hand corner. And I think it was maybe in the game against Brighton, she was on free kicks and hit the crossbar, hit it to keeper's left this time. So I'm sure maybe that's why, you know, Seismic was maybe just a little bit covering, you know, her left-hand side of the goal, but you know, pretty unstoppable in terms of up and over the wall for that one. Fantastic strike by Wilms.
Contact length still isn't in. You need the mirror. There you go. The phone will do. Here we go. Head back now. Eyes forward. Gone in. Maybe. Hang on.
Left,
Dropped
right,
out
up,
again.
down.
Still trying. Sean Gota there on the sidelines, who of course was interim coach, wasn't he, for a very brief period last season after the power left. Still very much involved in the women's team at Villa for Manchester City striker. Very early on in his junior days, he was actually at Manchester United before making his career, of course, at City. I see. Well, 6 minutes remaining, 2 required for West Ham to scramble something from the game. And it's one of those ones that Rhian Skinner's probably going to take little bits of positives here and there, but it's going to be played 5, lost 5, unless something dramatic happens here. Another change. The alteration is Leila Vandela, who's coming on. Swiss international who played at the Euros.
Really good young player, Vandela. It'd be good to see her, you know, really try to get a foothold in the WSL. But yeah, she was definitely a real, you know, made a real impact for Switzerland during the summer, and you know, very, very nice young talented signing for West Ham.
Salmon will take the throw. I say he gets a shove in the back. That's a free kick. We've got 4 minutes remaining here. Wilms all smiles. Her second goal that has given Aston Villa that little bit of breathing space and potentially put the game beyond West Ham. Still got minutes remaining here, and there will be some added on time as well. We've had the odd stoppage and of course a couple of restarts and substitutions as well, so that'll kick the minutes in beyond the 90 to 4 or 5, maybe even more. We'll see shortly. And West Ham have just re-engaged a little bit further up the pitch in the last 5-6 minutes or so. Eki will take it down. Still has it. Say he thought about the shot. Space for Vandela to measure the cross towards the back post. Not the worst, but no one in claret and blue can get on the end of it.
Yeah, just coming out on this right-hand side. Potentially it's Vandela's first touch of the ball, and as you say, not a bad ball into the box, but you can see now that Villa are, you know, defensively quite comfortable now. They're starting to just lock in. They've brought, you know, most players back, still keeping Hansen as that number 9, but even, you know, Salmon has dropped in, and they have that cover now of Mary Taylor, who I think has done a brilliant job in that 6.
Salmon flicks it to the right. No one in Villa colours can pick it up. West Ham have it again. Corey inevitably Lalonde, who's gone about her business in quiet manner but effective, might be likewise on this left-hand side. Here she is towards Salmon, who will turn and fire towards goal. Well, it just needed a little bit of bend, curl, swerve on that one to see it nestle into the corner, not too far away.
Yeah, I didn't think she was going to get, you know, almost that much power behind it. But as you say, just not enough curl, slightly off balance. You know, could have just slipped it inside the pitch again, just to the edge of the box. But again, she's, you know, she wants to get herself on that score sheet, get a third, and just really, you know, really finish this game.
Ball into touch. West Ham have a throw. Van der Leek keen to get on with this quickly, and makes herself available. Stays playing central now. Eki's looking to get involved. Is there any late drama here? Oh, given away by the Japanese international. And it's 4v3 if they can move it quickly. Salmon play back in field, but Mullet unable to find a teammate. This is Hansen, who is bundled over. Referee saw nothing wrong with that. Gori will pick up the loose ball. Missy Kearns. Weki. People back to goal. Weki with the fast feet. But all this play in the central area, not where it can really hurt Aston Villa, who've been well organised and well drilled by and large. D'Angelo has made a couple of good stops, but it's the defensive unit working hard, keeping their shape and their discipline. Uendo, 6 minutes of added on time. We have ticked into still West Ham probe. Endo does get the cross in. Denton will pick up the loose ball. Still the pressure, and time enough if one goes in here. This is Gori makes the run. Oh, she's unlucky there because it was a smart run, but it just got away from her.
Yeah, just running away from Gori there. Nice little slip ball through. But again, West Ham, they've still been creative, especially these maybe last 15, 20 minutes, just in terms of getting the ball in the box. But they just haven't had that focal point. We're not sure, maybe, you know, Martinez, she came off at 60. Was that planned? Is it, you know, maybe not the... I think she did pick up a couple of knocks through pre-season. So again, I think she's just, you know, we're not ready to see her for, you know, a full 90. But they do miss, you know, that focal point now, just in around the box, which they had in the first half.
Missy Kearns to play it back. Villa to win another throw. West Ham look to clear. And can get it launched to this near side. That's just going to bounce towards the near touchline. It's kept in play brilliantly though here. Good running, thump back, ball doesn't go out of play. Let's see what West Ham can do here. Got a player down off the ball at the moment, and that's going to go all the way through to D'Angelo. Well, we are 93 minutes in here, and Louise, you can tell us your player of the match.
Yeah, for me, I think it has to be Lynn Wilms. I think, you know, Villa didn't start the brightest, but again, she was still solid in her play, defensive duels, and as the game's gone on, I think she's been, you know, again, defensively solid, creative, and then, listen, that free kick to make it 2-0. Absolutely wonderful strike. And yeah, I think she's very well deserving today.
When you score a goal like that, and you keep a clean sheet, last 3 minutes pending, and you're always going to be a contender. She's been very good at the back, very assured, in a stunning free kick. Thoroughly deserved. Plenty of celebrations for her recently. She turned 25 just the other day. Late change here for Villa. Grant's coming off. And it's interesting what you said about Grant, because she was getting forward an awful lot in the first half, much more disciplined performance in the second.
Yeah, which I think even happened just about 5 minutes before the half. There was a little break in play, and I just think Natalia Ayoro, she just made some lovely adjustments to the team, just potentially pulling Grant just a little bit, you know, calling her a little bit more on her defensive duties. Because Fionn Morgan was in acres of space for most of that game and leaving Wilms very, very exposed. So again, just little tweaks at the end of the first half worked in Villa's advantage.
Say with a corner here for West Ham, and the glancing header wide. Ueki rose really well, but she could not direct on target. Good effort, just wide.
Yeah, again, she's just trying to create, you know, generate that power from a standing position. You know, you see she's been putting in some really dangerous balls, very flat. But, you know, if you can get the timing of that run right, you know, you can generate a lot of power from, you know, and it was just reaching just a little bit too much for Ueki.
Got herself in some good positions, but I don't think there's a lot to choose between these two teams, but I don't think we can argue with the result here. If it is to be a Villa win, and we've got a minute remaining.
It's just interesting that, you know, West Ham, they had such a strong press in that first half. You know, really gave Villa no space whatsoever to, you know, time to get on the ball, to turn, to
play. Might be in here though. Vivian Essay takes a touch and does go for goal. And Angelo was already flying across to her left, but the block came to a rescue anyway. Another day it could have been a different scoreline, but West Ham haven't taken their half chances, their quarter chances. Ueki lets fly. Hibbert looks to try and turn. She runs into too much trouble. Villa just looking to manage the remaining few seconds of this one, or maybe even better. Salmon with a brilliant run. She's got three players around her. She spots that she's got a little bit of help with Hansen. Those two still combining in the 96th minute of this fixture. Missy Kearns maybe looks to take it into the corner. West Ham will restart if we've got time. Hard-fought victory. West Ham have been beaten. They've been good in stretches, but not good enough.
They were good, they just didn't take advantage, which, you know, so far has been the, you know, the story of their season. You know, even early on in the game against Chelsea, they had an excellent chance to go, I think, 1-0 up. Again, it's just about utilising and taking advantage of those moments and momentum that they had.
That is full time. Skinner's side have been beaten here. Aston Villa with two brilliant goals from Hansen and Wilms, and all in all, it's the right result, Louise.
Yeah, I think as the game was definitely kind of momentum was swaying between both teams, but I think just at the end of the first half, as I said, I just think Ayoro just, you know, made some tactical changes which just really solidified you know, Villa's play going into the second half.
And it's Villa that come up trumps in the capital. Full time here. West Ham United 0, Aston Villa 2.